Hello and welcome back to Kuwait Motor Town for the second event in the 2024 Formula 4 Saudi Arabia Championship, the Gulf Prix of Motor Town this weekend. As always, my name is Aaron Thompson and we're joining you now for the qualifying session of this event. Luca Philippe just about to come up from briefing the drivers to join me in just a few moments. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it's just me this morning, but not to worry, as I believe that's the pit lane going open, and in just a few moments we'll be on track. We had free practice an hour or so ago, and luckily slight change to the regulations allowed the drivers to bring in a used set, an additional used set, which they used in testing yesterday to use in free practice as well. This allowed some very interesting lap times in free practice, which is a good change from last weekend. Drivers still, I believe, saving car for qualifying. You could see 203s and 204s. Not saving tire and car as much as they were last weekend, but definitely still saving something in the gas tank for qualifying, because we were down in the 201s last week, and of course conditions seem to be quite similar this weekend as they were to last weekend. You can see there on screen the drivers getting into their cars. That's Faisal Al-Kabani, the number 7 car, the silver number 7 car, driving for Saudi Arabia. Just behind him his mechanic, and just in front of you there on screen now as well, that's actually Aizad Zafik, his number 1 mechanic, installing him into the car. You can see the process here where the drivers have to see to do up their 6-point harness. Of course, the mechanic taking over to make sure everything's done correctly. Very nice helmet there on Faisal Al-Kabani. He's got the Arabic calligraphy going around the top and the green accent. I really do quite like it. He would look fantastic in the green car as well, but the silver is the way he went on. In any case, let's have a quick look around the circuit before we get into all the action. We have it once more around the Kuwait Motor Town here in Kuwait City. Just before we get underway now, looks like 1 minute left until the start of qualifying. Let's have a quick run through the championship standings. Maybe these might be slightly out of date, so perhaps we should move on from this, but just quickly, Federico Al-Rafai in the top spot at the moment. I believe these are actually not correct championship points, so let's not run through these at the moment. We'll get the correct points on screen for you shortly and take it from there. Is that the drag strip? That is a fantastic looking thing indeed. I believe that's the drag strip going down the back straight. I actually haven't seen that before from this angle. That looks fantastic. Just a moment, folks, and we'll be underway. Let's have a quick look at the results of free practice before we get into that. Solomon Zanfari came up on top in free practice with a 2:03.402, less than 1/10 of a second ahead of Kirill Kutskov, driving for Kyrgyzstan in the light blue, number 23. Kirill had a bit of a troubling weekend, or I should say a bit of a difficult start to his weekend last time around, but I think he's come around to the beauty of the Kuwait Motor Town, and he's really put his foot down in free practice this weekend, and you can see the results because he's in second position in free practice, and I'm sure he's going to be up there as well in qualifying, which we will get underway in just a moment. Just behind them, of course, we have Andrei Petrovic. So the top 3, Suleiman Zanfari, Kutskov, Kirill, and Petrovic. Kirill and Andrei, CIK and Rotax world champions respectively, so very interesting to see them taking a step up in their game from the last weekend. But I've got a sneaky suspicion that some of the drivers may have been holding back something in reserve to give everyone a shock here in qualifying. As we said already, the lap time in qualifying last weekend was a 2:01.4 or 2:01.5, 1:05, that kind of thing. So we've got a lot of pace to find on track still. Another almost 2 seconds here from the fastest time in free practice to the fastest time in qualifying last time around. Quick look at the folks at the clock here, folks. It's 12:59 in 1 minute. The pit lane will be open and we will be underway. Let's have a quick run through all the cars on grid for you this weekend. Before we do that, Solomon Zanfari will be again driving the orange number 52. Solomon had his chassis changed this weekend after we found a crack on the service day. Kirill Kutskov as well, another gentleman with a chassis change for this weekend. He also had a small crack in his chassis which mandated a change over the break between the two events. Kirill driving the blue number 23 once again for this weekend. Andrei Petrovic is in a red number 49 car. Might see him on track in just a moment as we get underway, driving for Serbia once again, and of course in the rookie class as well as the overall class, so he's got a lot to prove here this weekend. Oscar Weitz driving the white number 11 car, coming on screen any moment. I'm sure Oscar didn't have the best time around in last weekend. A few DNFs, unfortunately, due to various on-track incidences. But this time around, I'm sure he's got his head in the game and he's ready to go. He did a 2:03.801 in free practice. That puts him 4th fastest overall. And I'm sure he's got his eye on the top stop in qualifying. And just now, Luca Filippi has joined us.
Hello, everybody. Hello, race fans. Again in Kuwait, and I was just down in pit lane to make sure all the drivers were ready to start, and everybody were very excited after racing here last weekend. When we started this morning, there was a lot of excitement. All the drivers, they are now really looking at the very last fine details to improve their driving around the track. So I think we will have a very close qualifying today.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Luca. You can see Solomon on track there in the orange number 52, driving, of course, for Morocco. Solomon having an excellent weekend last time around, coming out in the top spot. You have any advice for him in this qualifying? Because it seems like Kirill and Andre are really up there just behind him.
Yeah, so Suleiman he loves this racetrack. He's been really competitive. And he's also very good at managing the tires, which we have seen in this circuit that is very long, 5.6 kilometers, with very twisty section and fast section in the middle. And he's good at managing the tires, so he's definitely one of the contenders of the weekend. And he's still now warming up, so he's also quite experienced in warming up the tire. We explained all the drivers that in order to make sure that the tire life is at its best, they have to bring up the temperature lap by lap quite slowly. Once the tire is on the target, then you can start pushing hard, and this is what we will see in this qualifying session. Some of the drivers will use a single set of tires, the brand new, and I know that some of them, like the 2 white car, I think, not sure about Suleiman, maybe also him, they will do a different, slight different strategy, so they will use both set of tires.
Yes, we saw that last weekend as well, the white team coming in for a quick pit stop just before the red flag, actually advantaged one of their drivers where they got one more lap on the new tires than the other did.
Yeah, so of course potential yellow or red flag, they can definitely be an help or disadvantage over the session. It is something that you cannot plan. You can just react as quick as possible, you as a driver when you are on track, and also in the pits, just making quick decision, just in chain, which it can be just keep the tires and set the pressure, make sure they are on the target, or go for the other set. So for this point of view, we have seen that for the push lap, the lap times are quite consistent for over the more or less 3 laps. So you could be fine with one set only. But, it's also nice to see 2 different strategies, and let's see who is the right, who's making the right decision.
And Luca, is there an advantage at all in the concept of going on the 2 new tires and having both tires then scrubbed for the races. Is there any advantage to starting on a not 100% new set of tire, but a tire that's done 1 or 2 laps already been rubbed in, or is that?
I think now they want to try and secure the qualifying and the potential pole position. Now Zanfari is definitely starting to push. And in this case, having 2 sets is like having basically 2 shots, no? And so you can have the first run, feel the grip, and then on the second run you can improve your driving and maybe reset your limits a little higher and try and use the maximum out of the new rubber. So this is maybe why it's also good. Regarding what you're asking, sometimes having a couple of laps on a set of tires, so you have a neat cycle over the new set, it can make the tire a little more stable for the races. So also that potentially one of the things that the engineers are also thinking about. For this point of view, I guess hearing on what the drivers were asking for, they are now trying to prioritize the starting position in trying and have 4 very good laps today.
So once again, folks, just for anybody who's not aware, starting grids for the 4 races are as follows. Race 1, fastest laps from qualifying. Race 2, second fastest laps from qualifying, reversed within 4 seconds of the leader. Race 3, similarly, third fastest laps from qualifying, with reversed within 4 seconds of the leader. And race 4, the 4th fastest times from qualifying. That, of course, mandates that the drivers continue to push the whole time during qualifying so that their 4th fastest lap is still significantly quick enough to make sure that they start at the front of the grid in the last race of the weekend. We see on track now here, Kirill Kutskov has just done a 2:06.559, I should say. Not exactly what's in pole place, but definitely one of the first people to start pushing on track. One of the few who are really starting to push indeed is Suleiman Zanfari, who just did a 2:02.745, almost 1 second faster than his time in free practice, ladies and gentlemen. So there is, as we said, a lot of time to be found on track still indeed. And I believe Luca Felipe was actually impressed with how much time these drivers found in qualifying last weekend around. He was predicting mid 2:02s, and we got down into 2:01s, which is very interesting indeed. Luca, do you have a lap time in mind for this weekend? Because I'm going for a 2:09. Sorry, a 2:009.
Good question. It's really hard to predict. I still expect to go near the lap time we have seen last week. Today we have less wind, but maybe a little hotter track. So let's maybe look for another 2:01 on the high side.
Hamda Al-Khabaisi may have been listening to you because she just did a 2:02.726. She found her time in the third sector, putting Suleiman Zanfari down into second position here in qualifying. Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani as well, doing a fantastic job for Saudi. He's at 2:03.251, and he's looking for more time just as we speak. On screen, though, we have the number 8 car of Hamda Al-Khabaisi. Unfortunately, her sister Amna not able to join us this weekend as she's at F1 Academy in Vegas, but Hamda doing her family proud as she comes around down into 3, 4, and 5 now for another push lap here at the Kuwait Motor Town.
Here we have Omar in the middle sector. Here he is in turn 6. We've seen him pushing really, really hard. He's improved his first sector, which is actually quite good. So definitely he's on a good lap. So he has to stay focused, and in this fast section, staying flat out. All this very snake is a very long snake is flat out, but then we arrive in the next sector, which you have a couple of very fast corners.
Yes, indeed. And you can see back on screen, here we are with Suleiman Zanfari as he's going to come across the line. Sector 2 and Sector 3, well, Sector 2 was not a personal best, not green or purple, so it looks like he's maybe on a bit of a cool down lap. He's going to push again to try and get back up to the front of the grid. Let's have a look for Kirill Kutskov. Where is he? Is he on track at the moment? Oh, he's just completed Sector 2. Again, white Sector 2, so perhaps he's on a bit of a cool down lap. He's going to push again in the next lap. What do you think, Luca?
Yeah, so some of the drivers are taking a little bit more time in order to to warm up the tires. Like you say, Kirill had a very good first sector, but now he probably made a mistake or found traffic. Now Hamda Al-Kubaisi in P1, she just improved slightly her previous lap, which is good having, you know, potentially four good laps in the pocket, with Oscar second, just a couple of hundreds behind. And Omar, what a lap from Omar in 202.7.
Yeah, that's the top three, separated by less than a tenth of a second at the moment. Fantastic work there from Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani. We saw him pushing hard in free practice, and we saw him have a good debrief with Alessandro, his race engineer, just after that. So fantastic to see him up there pushing as hard as he can, and it's very good news for Austria as well, because they did not have a good weekend last time around, and now they're up there in second position, and that's exactly the kind of racing we want to see. Top three drivers on track remain Hamda, Oscar and Omar, and all three have just set new personal bests in Sector 1, so everybody is still pushing hard indeed.
So, Andrei Petrovic in position 10, now he has the fastest middle sector and the fastest third sector.
Well done indeed at 2:02.121, taking 5/10 of a second out of Hamda Al-Kubaisi to put himself on pole position, and this is his fourth lap at the moment. Fantastic work there for the Serbian driver, doing a 43.307 and a 44.681 in sectors 2 and 3 respectively, which is, as Lucas said, where he found the time, purple sectors 2 and purple sector 3. But we just see now that Kirill Kutskov just put in a purple sector 1 with a 33.983. That is 0.2 of a second faster than Andrei Petrovic's first sector.
So Kirill is another super talented driver, and now he's on a green sector in sector 2, so he's definitely ends up in the top 3. Kirill, hopefully if he can finish the lap on a high in the last sector of the track, which is really fast, where you have to carry a lot of speed through the fast corners.
Yes, indeed. Where's the braking point for that last corner, Luca?
So you see a change of asphalt right at the 100-meter board, so exactly at the 100-meter board you start braking in where you see a little bit of a shiny asphalt on the outside, and then the apex for the last corner is the safety car line, and so you have good references for the last corner where the safety car line has an intersection into the apex of the curb. So Kirill up to P2.
Kirill Kutskov driving for Kazakhstan in the blue, number 23 at 2:02.295. Just under a tenth of a second away from the man in first place, Andrei Petrovic. Losing a bit of time in the third sector, did Kirill. That's what happened there, but Andrei Petrovic is just about to respond. He's just gone fastest overall in Sector 2 as well, with a personal best in Sector 1. We've got to see what's in store here for us as Andrei Petrovic comes around in the final sector of the track. At the moment, though, Suleiman Zanfari is in the pit lane. What's going on there, Luca? Is this strategy, or is he looking for a little bit more time with the engineers?
Yeah, so I think Zanfari is definitely swapping the tires and going for the brand new sets for the last quarter of an hour of the session, for the last 15 minutes. So slightly different strategy for him. While it's very interesting to have the two karting world champions at the top of the standing for the moment.
Very interesting indeed. We were saying before, Kirill had a bit of a slow start to Kuwait Motor Town here last weekend, but he's really found his pace here in the Kuwaiti track, and it looks like he's going to be either starting he looks like he's going to be starting on the front row for sure, isn't it?
Definitely.
A 2:01.925 from Andrei Petrovic, just as I cut you off there, Luca.
And he's keeps improving.
And he's pushing again, a purple sector 1 just now.
Yeah, I mean, these two, they have, basically no experience in terms of racing cars, but they have so much talent coming from karting, so every day they learn. And now Kirill is on a slow lap probably, or trying to cool down the tires, or maybe going to stop and use the other set. This we'll see shortly. But Andrei and Kirill, they have so much talent, really good drivers. Andrei is also now a bit of a benefit from the slipstream from Hamda.
Speaking of Hamda, where is she now? She's in P4 with the 2:02.693, so that's doing quite well. And just above her, looks like Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani just did a personal best in sectors 2 and sectors 3, a 43.617, a 44.847, to give him a 2:02.5 5.33, which puts him only 0.5 of a second off of pole position. So they're still in with a chance here for Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani, who's currently in third position. And if things remain as they are, it'll be very, very interesting come the start of the races, because Sagar Al-Masharj is just behind him. It'll be Saudi versus Kuwait on the second row of the grid.
Yeah, so it's very good that after last weekend, now we have a field that's very tight within a few tenths of a second. We're talking about a very long lap. So in a more than 5 kilometer circuit with 20 corners, few tenths of a second is a very small gap. So having so many drivers that are potentially fighting for the pole position is very exciting. I would say we have 7 drivers that have a genuine opportunity to be on pole position, and this is really exciting because they are in 8 tenths of a second, but some of them are going for a newer set now, and some of them are still improving, and it will be down to the very fine details in finding the very good lap. Also because circuit like that, so technical with so many corners, what we've seen is that it's really difficult to nail the perfect lap. Who will be able to make a very clean lap without mistakes in using the best of the grip, then will pay off.
I believe that we're going to see something very interesting happening very soon, because Suleiman Zanfari should be just back on track, and Oscar Wirtz and Federico Al Rafai as well seem to have been changing up tires and maybe coming back on track for another push with 14 minutes left to go in the qualifying session. This is the time now to switch over tires and go for it. Kirill Kutskov also into the pit lane. He's going to have to be changing tires as well, I believe. And well, let's see what happens, because there is definitely time to be found. 0.4 of a second from qualifying at the last weekend.
This is a very different qualifying to what we have seen last week so far, because last week we had a couple of red flags. We definitely forced people to prioritize the running on track and making sure you put good lap in the pocket instead of really going for the maximum performance. But now with a green session like this, like we see from Hamda, that she's changing now the tires, it's a good idea to swap for the second set, which should be a brand new, and then maximize the end of the session, which also the car gets a little bit lighter, because you start a session with the fuel that you need for the 30 minutes, and of course you burn fuel, so towards the end of the session you have a slightly lighter car. Also the circuit may have a little bit of extra rubber down, and you as a driver, you find all the references, so I'm sure we will see the lap time going even lower than this.
And circuit temperature, Luca, how does that affect lap time? We were doing 203s this morning in free practice. Obviously a little bit colder this morning. You can see the sun on track now heating everything up, and we're down into the 201s. What do you have to say about that?
So, we've been really lucky with the weather in these few days. So we have a bright sun, but still fresh air, which is actually, it feels great, to be honest. And this is making the asphalt temperature basically perfect. So the drivers, they have to maybe have a slight of a cool down in the middle of the run, but we don't really have overheating problems in this situation. So it's good because they can just focus on themselves in doing the standard warm-up procedure that they now have learned, and make sure they do their best job possible and staying within the lines, because watch out the track limits. The line is the limit. You have to keep at least a part of a tire on the line in contact. So this is also something that they have to keep in mind in order to have 4 good laps.
Yes, indeed. And as you say that, I see a few track limit messages coming up on timing screen. At the moment, car number 96 at turn 4. Unlucky for him there. What do you think's going on with Andrei Petrovic? We see him go out and do a fastest first sector, and then sector 2 and sector 3 is slowing down. Is he just finding traffic, or is he warming up his tires, or what's he doing there, Luca?
So I think now he's finding his limits, and definitely is very consistently improving in sector 1. but sector 2 with the tire degrading a little bit, it's hard to match the time that he did a few laps ago. So for the moment, it looks like he decided to stay on one set only and prioritize just himself focusing on the driving, and he's working so far because he's been doing well and doing consistent laps. So you want to be on pole position for sure, but it's also good to have 4 good laps that they are, you know, within a few tenths of a second to one to the other.
Yes, exactly. And Sullivan Zanfari doing exactly that with a 2:02.06 just now, finding his time in the second and third sectors to put him P2 overall, just behind Andrei Petrovic, and splitting him and Kirill Kutskov for the second position. So at the moment it's Andrei Petrovic and Sullivan Zanfari, P1 and P2. Just behind him, Kirill Kutskov and Omar Al-Walid Al-Darani, taking up the second row of the grid. Sagar Al-Mashaj, driving for Kuwait, is currently on a 2:02.569. That puts him P5 overall for the first, and starting 5th in the first race of this weekend, which will be coming to you live in just a few hours' time, ladies and gentlemen.
So right now, being on his brand new set of tires, Zanfari is now on the peak of the grip. So we have seen him, improving the previous lap, and he will definitely try and improve again. Now he's on a bit of a slower sector, but definitely having now the new tire, it will give him an opportunity to improve his position. And same thing for Federico Rifai, now improving, but still not finding the best grip of the tire yet. And same thing for Oscar Wurz, that he also went for the new set, and he hasn't made so many quick laps. So he has to use the most out of these 8 minutes to go in order to keep pushing and put a couple of laps in the bag.
Yes, indeed. And at the moment, Andrei Petrovic remains the only driver on track in the 2:01s. But, ladies and gentlemen, there's less than 9/10 of a second between first place and ninth place. So there is a lot of action that could come up in any moment. And Sullivan Zanfari, Kirill Kutskov, Federico Al-Rifai, Omar Al-Darani and Sagar Al-Mashaj, I'm sure, are all determined to knock Andrei Petrovic off the top spot for qualifying, because we know how important that is come race day, ladies and gentlemen.
So it's good to have also Jabor that came on board this weekend, and he had a bit of a harder time in learn the circuit in just 1 day of practice, which is still, a lot of track time, because we had 4-hour session just yesterday. So this gave him the opportunity to catch up. But also think about it, you come and race against all these drivers that they had a full weekend behind the wheel, and so Jabor is doing a very good job in being in contact with the lap times of the field, and definitely we can also see a battle towards the mid pack of the field between Abdullah Al-Kubezi, the Kubezi brother, is also improving day by day, and Abdulaziz Abu Zenada, and he's also made an amazing step in between last weekend and this weekend, so it means really improving. And Jabor as well, which he came on board after the Bahrain weekend in December in the trophy event, where he also had a top 10 finish. So it's really promising, and it's good that we can see so big improvement between these guys.
Yes, indeed. You can see green every lap. They're improving and improving and improving and improving. I think you had a chance to work with Jabor and some of the other drivers on the days off in between the two events. I think I heard some mention of paddle as well, Luca. How did everything go for you guys there?
Yeah, so we had a paddle match with myself and Faisal against Luca Allen, the other coach, with Oscar Wurz. And I'm definitely saying that they are much better at driving.
Well, indeed they are, because Sullivan Zanfari just popped up into the 2:01s with a 2:01.747, just under a tenth of a second faster than Andrei Petrovic, gaining him the top spot here in qualifying. But it looks like Kirill Kutskov is going to have something to say with that, because he just went green in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2, and he's coming around the final sector of the racetrack just now. And in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see what he has to say about that. And he's also into the 201s with a 201.770, 300ths of a second away from Solomon Zanfari, putting him in second place for the first race of this weekend.
Wow, also Kirill is on fire. He just made a slight mistake in the last sector because he didn't improve himself, but what a middle sector. Middle sector is the best so far, and it's good to see that now with 5 minutes to go, the screen is getting green everywhere with Oscar Wurz, that now he is also improving. Oscar is in the final sector now.
Yeah, he had a great first sector, a good second sector, but that second sector from Krill is amazing. It's 0.2 of a second faster than Oscar's second sector. Just as Andrei Petrovic crosses the line with a purple sector 3, but he loses out in sector 1 and sector 2 again. Seems like Andrei's have a bit of trouble stringing it all together there. We see purple sector 1, purple sector 2, and then nothing in sector 3. Or the other way around.
But Andrei, at least, is very consistent. So also looking at his fourth race position is potentially one of the fastest, because he's done many different laps in low 202s, so he's looking good for a potential pole position in race 4.
He's got a very consistent lap pace there. 202.097 from Oscar Wurz, ladies and gentlemen, green in every sector of the track, puts him into P4 as Solomon Zanfari sets a purple sector 3 here just a moment to go. Lap position or track position, let's say, Solomon Zanfari P1, Kirill Kutskov P2, Andrei Petrovic P3, Oscar Wurz P4, and Federico Al-Rafai P5. Federico was on pole, I believe, in qualifying last event, and at the moment he is just under 4/10 away from Solomon Zanfari. Do you think he's got time to find? He just did sector 1 and sector 2, and he didn't manage to better himself, so I believe he's on a bit of a cool down lap. What do you think, Luca Filippi?
I just think that the top 8 they all have an opportunity to be on pole position. It's just a matter to find the right lap, the right grip, and also sometimes the right slipstream. Sometimes you can just be in the right time at the right place at the right time, and that also helps. Maybe you don't really look for it, but if it just happens to be in a slipstream in your best lap, that's also give you a little bit of an extra top speed, and who knows, that can also get you a couple of places.
Yes, indeed, and as we said before, it's about 0.7 of a second between first and 8th position, so there is a lot to come here still, folks. Sagar Al-Masharj at the moment is in 8th. He's the Kuwaiti driver. He just went personal best in sector 2, so hopefully he will improve this time around, because we'd love to see him start from the front of the grid. Solomon Zanfari, though, that man at the moment ahead of Kirill Kutskov, Andrei Petrovic, and Oscar Wurz. Andrei into the pit lane, looks like he may be calling it a session, and it's an incredible session for him this weekend. It looks to me like he's going to be on pole for the 2nd or 3rd or perhaps the 4th race, but in the first race he's going to start P3 just alongside Oscar Wurz, the Austrian, in P4 at the moment. He's still on track, the Austrian, I should say, and looks like he's going to be pushing around one more time to see if he can set himself up for a pole position here in the first race of this weekend. Solomon Zanfari, though, has made that very difficult indeed with a 201.747. Solomon at the moment, though, not on a push lap, so there may be an opportunity drivers to put in one last push lap with 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go. It'll only be the people on track with an opportunity to do that, though. So who remains on track, ladies and gentlemen? Well, at the moment we have Kirill Kutskov, who just did a personal best in sector 1, and Oscar Wurz, who is not improving in sector 1 or sector 2, and Sagar Al-Masharj, who just did a personal best in sector 1 with a 33.895, 5 thousandths of a second faster than Kirill Kutskov, who just went fastest overall in sector 3 for another fantastic sub 2 minute 2 second time.
Wow, Kirill is also pushing hard, and is really close to the pole position for race 1 and potentially for race 4, because he's also putting a lot of laps together, consistent, fast. Is done, I think, at least 2 per pole sector, like the second and the third. He wasn't able to put it together in the same lap, so this is maybe why he didn't do the pole position for the moment, but is showing a lot of speed and a lot of skills. You can see he's driving, you know, he's been into turn 4 right on the limit, on the white line, with a very balanced car, able to be on the limit, so definitely he's now finding his rhythm in a race car after coming from karting, after being, you know, okay karting world champion, and a lot to come from these guys, all of them.
Yes, indeed, Luca. Well, let's have a quick look at the number of laps here now that qualifying has just come to a finish. Suleiman Zanfari manages to put himself on pole position with 10 laps. Kirill Kutskov similarly second position with 10 laps. Andrei Petrovich, ladies and gentlemen, third position with only 8 laps on his tyres. Is that going to give him a significant advantage come race time?
Yeah, he saved the 2 laps of the in and out by not using the second set. So this 8 lap, it means he had 6 push laps, and maybe, you know, out of these 6 push laps, I think 4 were quite good, I would say. Zanfari with another 201.71, so he's slightly improving himself, which is also good for his number of push laps, which also get him as a contender for the race 4 pole position, which, you know, it's the last race of the weekend, which gives you a full points, and also, you know, the last trophy of the event, which potentially give you the opportunity to go home and catch your flight with a smile.
Yes, agreed. Hopefully Suleiman Zanfari can do exactly that. He had a good, strong weekend last week, but it was race 4, I believe, where he spun off in the last weekend, and that was an unfortunate finish to the event for him, and hopefully he will keep it all together this weekend and really add some points to his championship standings, because at the moment he's on top of the championship standings, Luca.
Yeah, we're very, very close.
A very close margin, half a point.
Half a point, and it's good to have, you know, so many drivers that they are potentially fighting for the lead of the championship, so it's really unpredictable for the moment. I would say that this pole position gives him a lot of confidence to start the weekend, to kick off the weekend, as it does for Kirill Kutskov and Andrei Petrovich. I would say that probably Oscar Wurz and Federico Rifai, but also Amda, they were maybe hoping for a slightly better result, even if we're talking about a couple of tenths of a second, that today made a really, really tight top 10.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's have a look quickly, Luca, at this, because I think this is quite impressive. We've got Morocco on pole, Kazakhstan in second, Serbian in third, Austria in fourth, Kuwait in fifth, UAE in sixth and seventh. I mean, it's a fantastic grid here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then 2 Saudis, and then Switzerland, and then Philippines. I mean, yeah, it's a very international field.
Yes, indeed.
And coming from really different regions of all around the world. And I would say that it gives a lot of pride also to see that the drivers, they are improving in such a short time, and showing great performances, and showing great talent as well, with equal cars and equal opportunities, equal amount of new set of tires, is really giving the drivers the opportunity to shine and to improve and to learn from each other, push each other. There is an open concept and system of data sharing and video sharing, which is, we try and make sure that everybody can learn from, you know, from each one of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. I mean, that's the whole reason F4 was created, to bring young drivers up to the standard and push them on to the next level, which is Formula 3 or Formula Regional now.
And Formula 4 is an amazing car to drive. What we have here is, I would say, the best package available in Formula 4, which is Tatus, Autotecnica, and Pirelli.
Yes, indeed, and I believe we're going to go down to the pit lane now for a quick interview with Marcello Puglisi.
And here we are with Suleiman Zamfari. What a great pole, man. You were flying on track, and there was a really tight battle between you and Kirill Kuskov. I think the track was a little bit slower than last week, but actually you were able to manage to go below the 2:02 many times. Can you explain how you made this possible?
Allora, alla qualifica ho fatto del mio massimo. Diciamo che al primo set ho avuto traffico, al secondo è andata un po' meglio, ho riuscito a mettere tutto insieme, sono molto felice e adesso testa per la gara. Obiettivo attaccare, vincere e mai mollare.
Okay, great job, Suleiman.
Well, back to the start of qualifying now. Luca, you can see Suleiman Zanfari jumping out there as quickly as he could. In the end of the day, he'd put on 13 race laps here in qualifying. Hamda Al-Kabasi in the purple number 8 as well, doing a fantastic job. She'd finish number 6 overall with the 2:02.148. While on track, there was a lot of action. Off track there was as well, with a lot of tyre changes here and strategy going on in the qualifying session. The red number 49 of Andrei Petrovic there on screen, ladies and gentlemen. He really made things very interesting for us indeed. He was at the top of the standings the whole session, and just before the end, Suleiman Zanfari pipped the top spot from him, and he ended up 3rd overall. Back into the pit lane for a few more tyre changes, while the number 9 car of Abdullah Al-Kabasi goes green and green and green and green again as he gets better and better and better every single lap here at the Kuwait Motor Town. On screen now, the white number 10 of Federico Alberfai, who managed to finish top 5 once again here in qualifying before Suleiman Zanfari took pole position for the first race of this event. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end here at the Motortown Gulf Prix. It's been a fantastic session, a joy to watch and a joy to commentate. And for me, Aaron Thompson, thank you very, very much for watching indeed.
Thank you, everybody, and see you for the race 1 of the weekend.
See you soon, everyone.